Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled Your Output is Their Output, Andy Grove on What Managers Actually Produce. Here we go. Think about the last time you had a genuinely productive week. You cleared your inbox, you finished what you started. You felt good about the output. Now ask yourself this: did your team have the same kind of week? Because if they didn't, your productivity wasn't leadership. It was individual contribution with a title attached. That distinction matters more than most managers realize, and Andy Grove laid it out better than almost anyone. Grove was the CEO of Intel. He ran one of the most demanding, precision-driven organizations in the history of technology. And at the core of how he thought about management was this: a manager's output is the output of his organization and the teams that he influences. Not the tasks you completed, not the meetings you ran, the output of the organization, the output of the teams you influence. That is the measurement. That is the accountability. Early in my coaching work, I sat with a division leader who was putting in 60-hour weeks. Smart, relentless, committed, and his team was quietly stuck. Projects stalled, decisions waited on him, morale was flat. When we looked honestly at his calendar, almost 90% of his time was spent doing things he was good at, but none of it was removing the obstacles that his team faced every single day. He wasn't leading output, he was producing alongside of people instead of for them. That's not a character flaw, it's a structural one. And Grove's framework is what made it visible. The most common misread of this idea is that it puts the manager at the center of everything, that every result flows through them, which means they need to touch everything. That produces the exact problem we're trying to solve: centralized decision-making, bottlenecked execution, a team that learns to wait rather than move. Grove didn't mean that the manager controls output, he meant that the manager is accountable for it. That is a fundamentally different posture. Accountability for output means you're responsible for the conditions under which your team can produce well. That includes clarity of direction, removal of obstacles, the quality of the systems and feedback loops that your team operates inside. It means asking yourself honestly whether your people have what they need to succeed without coming to you for permission at every turn. The multiplier isn't your effort, it's your design. When you structure roles well, when you establish clear expectations, when you build teams that trust each other and move with your confidence, your output as a manager compounds. You produce leverage. So here's what I want you to sit with this week. Not the question of whether you worked hard. You almost certainly did. The real question is where your influence is showing up in your team's results. Are there wins that your team delivered that you haven't fully owned as a leadership outcome? Are there problems that persist because your design hasn't addressed them yet? Both of those are yours, and Grove is asking you to claim them. Management isn't about what you do. It's about what becomes possible because of how you lead. Your output isn't measured in hours or tasks. It's measured in the collective capability and results of the people around you. The most effective leaders I know have internalized exactly this. They've stopped trying to produce more personally and started asking how to make the people around them more capable, more confident, and more free to do their best work. That is what Grove meant. And it is still, decades later, exactly right.